It's green, green, green. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Let's get the start of Sky TV coverage, okay? How are we all? Hope you're doing well. Hope you ain't missed me too much. Hey Connor, how's it going? Just getting my Sky TV coverage up so I don't miss out on any additional information for you all. Of course, we're now back on the full setup. I'm home, I'm fully rested, I'm ready for F1 again. For a triple header. I have such a beautiful face. Have I got over my holiday, Anthony? Yeah, I was ready to come back home. It's been a tough week back at work, I won't lie to you. First week back has been a bit long. But yeah, welcome everyone, hope you're well. We are live on Twitch as well, so hello to people over at Twitch. Let me just make sure I've got everything turned on. What's just yeah. Yeah, looking forward to this triple header, guys. Looking forward to it. Of course, Spain never really provides us. Barcelona, a lot of good racing, shall we say. Of course, the change at the end with turn 13, removing that poxy chicane. I didn't put it on because I was hoping to keep this room a bit cool, but let's turn on my light. Dark in here, isn't it? Hang on. Oh, Jesus, that's a bit bright. Ah! I'm blind. There we go. Right. Yeah, hope everyone's had a good week. Lewis in the lead, yeah. Probably not for long, because Gasly's up there now. But, yeah. Interesting to see what we have in this practice session. Everyone out on track apart from Verstappen and Sainz. So Ferrari earlier on, I did see we're running the upgrades on Sainz's car compared to Leclerc. And Leclerc was struggling, wasn't he, on those that car without the upgrades on. Can get a bit windy here at Barcelona, but we have Barcelona, Red Bull Ring, which is a sprint race weekend, and we have Silverstone coming up in the next 3 weeks, guys. So lots of F1. I'm your sunshine. But hopefully I look like I've got a nice glow to my face. Little bit of a tan. Not as tan as I normally get, but it was nice. Morning, Taco. What tyres are they on now? Well, you can... Yeah, why is that data not coming through? Interesting, the tyre data isn't coming through for some reason, guys. Oh, there we go. Just like that. Yeah, there's the tyre data for you. So, lots of drivers on mediums. Hard tyre is always a good tyre here, guys. So, we'll see if anyone's going to use... I can't imagine they're going to use a lot of them, but they'll need to use them to gather some data, that's for sure. Yep. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get some quali runs. Will we get some quali runs? Because this is the time where qualifying will be held tomorrow. So it's kind of an indicative session to qualify. So we might get some quali runs at the end. Hopefully it's just not all long runs. But weather for Sunday, guys, is supposedly going to be intermittent. It's going to be raining, which will make things interesting at Barcelona, that's for sure. I was working, Demon. I'm back to work, so I don't normally get to do FP1. I get, obviously, most of my work done so that I'm able to do FP2. But yeah, I don't get to do FP1 because I'm still working, because it's in the middle of my working day. So this isn't my full-time career yet, unfortunately. Maybe one day, But last week out, I was at I was on holiday, so that's why I was able to do every session. And unfortunately, I won't be able to do tomorrow's practice session FP3 because I've got a baby scan to attend to tomorrow. So right in the middle of FP3. So that takes priority, of course, guys. But I will be around for qualifying in the afternoon, and of course the race on Sunday. Missed me doing FP1. I know. But it's glad to know I missed, guys. It's glad to know I missed. And it's glad to know that you now get to see my face as well. But yeah, let's see what this has in store for us today, guys. Earlier on, the McLarens were strong. So my kind of predictions for this weekend were, I do think Ferrari are going to do well. I did think Leclerc would do well, but I think Sainz, with it being his home circuit, will put on a good show as well. I've got a sneaky feeling about Hamilton. Don't know why. I think Mercedes always they've had a good history here, and just something, I think, redemption maybe for him after Canada as well. He's always gone well here at Barcelona, so yeah, I think Hamilton's going to have a good weekend. I think Ferrari are, and yeah, I think Verstappen will be up there. But then again, like, you've got the McLarens as well. It's still, once again, I feel like there's a lot of drivers and teams that could do well here this weekend, but I do think Hamilton's going to have a good performance. Really do. Yuki P1. Baby, good reason. Yeah, it's a good reason. So, 6 months now. 6 months. Only 3 more months until the Litlan's due. And my life is going to change completely. So, I hope Hamilton does well. Yeah, it'd be good to see him recover. Of course, there's been the leaked email. So the leaked email has gone out to journalists. The same list of journalists that received the Horner details earlier on in the season. But they've been reducing the tyre temperatures of Hamilton, the tyre blankets, by 2 to 3 degrees in qualifying, which is bold, because like, if that's true, then that's like sabotage. That is actual sabotage of a driver. But that is just an email, so yet to be kind of confirmed that that's a reputable source. Don't know where that's come from, like whistleblower type-esque email, so I'm sure people are investigating it, so we'll see. I hope Ricciardo does well and gets a podium. Carlos get a home win. Yeah, Ricciardo, I think he'll do. I mean, he's had good history here as well, isn't he, with Red Bull in the past. There's a few drivers that like this setup, like this circuit, as we see Hamilton fastest in the first sector, guys. As Norris seems to be on it straight from the outset this weekend. Fastest in FP1. This is a circuit as well where you're going to have to look after your tyres if it's dry conditions. It is always very punishing on the tyres, and that's where Lando really kind of shines through over his teammates in Piastri. But let's see Hamilton. Has he been held up at all by anyone in the middle sector? Maybe a little bit with a green second sector. That is the second fastest middle sector out of anyone. Only Lando Norris faster by a couple of attempts. Let's see. His teammate's currently fastest in Sector 3, so let's see if Hamilton can get to the top of the time sheet, eh? Only P3. Third fastest in the last sector. So lost a few attempts there in the middle and last sector, so that's why he wasn't completely the fastest. Just having a look. He's on camera now, and let's see if he got held up by Sargent or anyone at all. Not really, didn't look like it. So maybe strong in the first sector, that Mercedes. We'll keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the lap times. George Russell fastest there in the first sector as well. We'll see if they lose a bit of time in the middle sector. But yeah, should be a good weekend. What's happened to Sainz? I don't know what's happened to Sainz. Sainz seems to be okay. He's just trudging about. Looks like did he put on some new tyres? Probably maybe came in for a front wing change or something. Looks like he's on the same set of tyres, same as Leclerc. They've come in to change something on both of their cars. So maybe like a front wing change. So pretty much in and out straight away. Piastri's done a few laps on the hards. He's in the pit lane at the moment, so he'll come out again. Georgie Paulgie with a 14.0. That is... He's two... Interestingly, that's still 2 tenths off his fastest last sector time. So, George feeling good with the car. Sergio Perez, let's go. Let's never surrender. He needs a good performance this weekend, Sergio Perez. If Sergio Perez doesn't have a good weekend, I mean... There's already questions, isn't there, being asked about his contract renewal, so... Hang on. Max Verstappen, how's the balance? Max saying, the car is loose in the exits in general, still just weird understeer mid-corner. The car doesn't bite. So not enough front end for Max. We know like Max likes a very pointy car. Not the same on that chicane this track. Of course it's better without the chicane, Deej. It's better without the chicane. That chicane's horrible. Torturous. Disgusting. Can I use any more adjectives? You really liked it? Shocking. Shocking. What happened to Russell? Why is he so max power? I mean, I think the Mercedes is... The Mercedes, I think, has generally made improvements. They haven't got any upgrades this weekend. Ferrari's got the biggest upgrade package. Red Bull have a few upgrades. McLaren don't have any. So, yeah, but McLaren have definitely... Overall, I think they've... there was rumours they were going to bring a floor upgrade this weekend as well. Another floor upgrade. But I think that's being postponed to Silverstone. Likewise, I think McLaren are aiming for Silverstone as well. Potentially, I think also Red Bull. They might even bring it at Red Bull Ring because obviously home circuit for them. But yeah, mostly I think Mercedes have definitely made gains. But of course, it is just practice. It is just practice. They're all doing their runs and so forth. Hopefully, we'll get some quali runs at the end of this practice session because qualifying is at the same time tomorrow. In the day pretty much, or 3 o'clock. There's an hour's difference, so the morning session isn't always like indicative to track conditions and stuff, so other than maybe like the wind, but track temperature most likely earlier in the day is going to be cooler than it is later when qualifying's going on. So is this circuit kind of meh? A little bit zap, yeah. It's never really thrown up a classic, is it? It's never really thrown up a classic. I think the best classic was probably a few years ago when Lewis did the undercut on Max. Did the undercut? Or he did the extra stop, didn't he? Did the extra stop and chased down Max and got that move done. Like that's kind of like the one that I remember. There's moments. I think there's I think this track has provided moments, but not necessarily overall memorable races. Like, the thing that really stands out for me is Fernando Alonso's start from 4th position down into the first corner, overtaking the 2 Red Bulls, and I can't remember who else it was. I think it might have even been Lewis, down into the first corner. That was great. That Lewis and Rosberg coming together into turn 4. But other than that, yeah, I don't think it's really provided any classic races. So this is potentially the last race at Barcelona as well. No. Next year's the last race at Barcelona. We're getting 2 Spanish Grand Prix, aren't we? Am I right in that? It's Barcelona next year and Madrid. Is that right? I'm pretty sure that is the case. Spain 2016. Yeah, 2016. Oh yeah, that was Max Verstappen's first win, wasn't it? Max Verstappen's first win, holding off Kimi Räikkönen. Yeah, the two drivers, 2 Mercedes obviously drivers, Lewis and Rosberg crashed out of turn 4. I forgot the rest of that race. I thought it was a sprint weekend. Next week, Anthony. Next week. Next week is Red Bull Ring. That's where we've got a sprint race. Madrid after 2025. Oh, okay. I thought Barcelona, I thought there was like an overlap. There's like 1 year where we go to Barcelona and Madrid. But Barcelona hasn't been extended, which clearly indicates that they're not going to have 2 races in Spain, I think. They're going to go to Madrid, aren't they? George really liking this car, by the way. Seems to be dialed in pretty quickly as he's fastest in the first sector again, a 21.8. Interestingly, guys, the two Mercedes, look at this. The two Mercedes at the moment, I'll just show you the sector times. Look, that is the top Mercedes, 1-2 in the first sector, 2-3 in the second, and 1-3 in the third. Very, very good from them at the moment. Bit slower in the middle sector though, George Russell, which is understandable. That's where you start to need that. You need that grip of the tyre. So 7-lap-old mediums, he's not going to get as much grip as he did earlier on. So just suffering a little bit there. Explain tyre history, please. So the number next to it is basically how many laps they've done on that set of tyres. So it used to be that they would come every time they pit in practice. Anyway, every time they pit in practice, it updates. Doesn't necessarily mean Hamilton's used 3 sets of soft medium tyres. He's used 1 set and done 8. He's now done 8 laps on that set of medium tyres. So yeah, all you really want to pay attention to is the number next to the tyre, and it will tell you how many laps they've done. Where this is really important is, obviously, it lets you know whether they're doing like long runs, so they're going for like race pace, or they're going for a quick lap. They'll be on like a fresh set of tyres. In qualifying, it's really important as well, because drivers don't always do, but the first lap they do in qualifying, normally Q2 and Q3, is on a set of used tyres because they don't have enough of brand new tyres available. So you'll see like a disparity sometimes where, Lando Norris has done a slower lap time than Oscar Piastri. Well, that's because he's done 5 laps on that set of tyres where Oscar is using a brand new set. So that's where it's really intriguing to pay attention to in qualifying. And then, of course, during the race, yeah, it updates itself and you know how many laps they've done. So, yeah, pretty simple to keep up. But George Russell, only man out on track, as they're now all into the pit lane. So we've done 20 minutes of this session. I wonder what they're all setting the cars up for now, because it's interesting that everyone is in the pit lane. There's not a single car out on circuit, which is intriguing. So, did Haas bring any upgrades? I don't know. A little bit of interesting news about Haas, guys. Remember Mazepin? Remember Uralkali? The Uralkali, the oil firm owned by Mazepin's dad. They have won their court case against Haas. So Haas are going to have to pay. I don't know the details. I think it's coming out. It's coming out very soon. But yeah, Haas have lost that case, and they're going to have to pay a lot of money to that company, Mazepin's company. I assume. Yeah, that's been so Haas not in great shape there. Did you see the idea for Monaco to extend the track further up the town, to extend the straight before the tunnel? I didn't know. No, I just don't think... I think Monaco's never going to change. The cars need to change. It's not necessarily a circuit. The cars need to get smaller and lighter, don't they? So that they can at least go side by side, and at least someone can try and force the issue without actually causing a roadblock. You look at some of the videos of onboards of drivers back in like the early 2010s, where the cars were considerably shorter, completely considerably narrower as well, and there was a lot more moves, at least a lot more attempted moves into like Rasgas, the last sector, and so forth. Whereas now, no one even attempts that because the cars are too big. So Red Bull I think they've got a couple of updates, but not a large of a pack. They was expecting a real big update package. I think I could be completely wrong. Maybe they have brought it for this weekend, but I'm pretty sure I saw that their update package has been. The majority of it has been postponed to Silverstone. They've brought a couple for this weekend, but it's not as big of an update as they expected. It's coming. They're splitting it like in 2. From what I read, I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. I will try and find that out for you guys. Mercedes tries to have one car, yeah. Haas are going to be affected by this because they have to give $8 million US. Is it 8 million? Is that what they have to give? Yeah, I mean, that's... Gene Haas. I mean, we know Haas isn't the most lucrative of F1 companies, of F1 teams. So that's a big chunk for them to pay out. Big chunk, so... Ferrari have a massive... Ferrari have big upgrade here. I'll show you. I did save a image where it detailed the actual upgrades they've got. Open link in news. Go. Here we go. Just for a sec, guys, because it's only Logan Sargent and Alex Albon out on the track. So this is the upgrades that... Why is that so zoomed in? Apologies, guys. Hang on a second. Is that so zoomed in? That's a bit more like it. Apologies all, apologies. So this is the upgrades that they've got. Rear wing, coke engine cover, floor fences, floor body, floor edge, diffuser. Circuit specific drag, performance flow conditioning, performance flow conditioning, performance flow conditioning, local load, like that's, you can pause that or go back onto the track map, but yeah, that's 6 different items that they've brought there as an update package. So yeah, Ferrari definitely got the largest of that. Just looking at anything else that people have done. Yeah, that's it, pretty much. I'll see if I can find out what Red Bull have grabbed. What have they done? What have Red Bull done? I can't find it, but yeah. That Ferrari have got a big upgrade package, basically. Gene Haas has the money, but doesn't want to spend it. Yeah. Yes, guys. We have drivers out on the soft compound tyre. That's what we want. Make this practice session interesting. We can get to see some true relative pace of teams. Single lap pace, anyway. So let's see what the likes of Norris on the set of softs can do. Sainz, Leclerc, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Zhou, Albon. Albon's going all right, ain't he? 22-1. Still not faster than either of the Mercs or the Ferraris. Only 7th fastest on a set of brand new softs. So, hey Nick, how's it going, mate? We'll be joining F1 drivers to do in Barcelona today. Unfortunately, I won't be, mate. I'm doing some commentary for the Mixed Apex Motorsport Cup, the Sim Racing Cup that they do. So, I'm planning on hopefully doing either tomorrow night or Sunday night. So I'll see if I can fit that in. But yeah, no, I do. I'm hoping to at least Red Bull Ring next week or Silverstone. You know I love Silverstone. To get some races in and start doing the F1 races again. Yeah, that's what I want to do, buddy. Mercedes got an upgraded floor. It's just lighter. They upgraded their floor over the previous weeks. Yeah, they've been like drip feeding upgrades, Mercedes. They haven't just done like one big upgrade. They've been drip feeding it. And now all those parts have combined to work better, as Carlos Sainz is going fastest in the first and second sector. So quite comfortably. Let's see how he gets on. 4 temps faster nearly in the second in the middle sector compared to Lando, who set that on the mediums. So here we go. What time is this going to be? 1:12 something? 1:13.2. So fastest in every single sector. Carlos Sainz there, running of course at his home circuit. 8 temps faster. Lando's on the soft compound tyre as well, a 21.9. Bit slow for him. That's only 7th fastest because the 2 Stake F1 cars are faster in the first sector than Lando Norris. But of course, the McLarens like to hold back a little bit their performance in practice. They don't like to show their true hand in practice. So Lando's probably running quite a lot of fuel. Hey Rico, thank you for the subs, guys, that have come in. Alfonso, I saw you there. Vernon as well. Big thank you. And anyone else who has subbed in the meantime and it hasn't shown up as an alert, thank you. We are streaming on Twitch as well. So if you're watching on Twitch, thank you. Are the Red Bull sandbagging? Well, Max was reporting that he has. So Max is now out. So let's see how he gets on. As Lando with a slow first sector only goes 300ths behind Sainz. So very interesting there. That was it was about 2 tenths slower. I mean, to put that in perspective, guys, Lando's 8th fastest in the first sector on that lap. So he's slower than the 2 Stake F1 cars, Hulkenberg, 2 Ferraris atop, as Leclerc went 3rd. So, I mean, Bottas is 4th at the moment, so that says a lot for you in regards to who's running probably high fuel and low fuel. But let's keep an eye on Max. Max is now out. So he's been reporting that he's got a bit of mid-corner understeer. So just the car's not biting the way that he'd like. So we'll see. The Red Bull not struggling with setups. Now, of course, he won Montreal, he won Imola, but that Red Bull is still vulnerable. They're not as supreme as they were, where it's just lightning quick out of the box. So let's keep an eye out on Max as he's about to start a flying lap. So let's see how he gets on. Don't know what fuel loads they're running, but we should get a good indication of how he's feeling in this car from this lap time. Hey, Zach, good to see you, mate. Can't keep up with who has the fastest car. Well, that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of F1 at the moment, which we've been so, like, just wanting for the last 3 years, is that we've now got 3 teams. Well, you'd arguably say McLaren, I think, are probably the best all-round team at the moment. You've got McLaren, you've got Ferrari, have got a big upgrade package here this weekend. We've got Mercedes, look like they've made a bit of an improvement as well. As Hamilton's also out on a set of softs, so he'll be doing a flying lap in a second. Just keep an eye on Max. He's gone fastest in the first sector, a 21.735. So that's like 100th of a second faster than Carlos Sainz. Let's see how he gets on. Of course, everyone's expecting Red Bull to dominate here this weekend. Kind of normal service resumed for the Red Bull. 29.5 for him in the middle sector, so that's 5th fastest. Valtteri Bottas faster than Max Verstappen in the middle sector in this practice session at the moment. But let's see as he comes round the last corner, turn 14. Is he going to set the fastest lap of the race, even with a slow middle sector? Of this session? No. But he did go fastest in the last sector by a 10th. So it's only that middle sector where he's lost time there. I'm not sure where he lost that time. But yeah, for him, so the middle sector is basically from turn 5 all the way round to turn 10, just before turn 10. So lots of, quite a bit of mid-corner understeer. So he's still struggling mid-corner. But the good thing for Max is that if he is slow in the middle sector, there's not many of an opportunity to overtake there. Most of the overtaking opportunities are down into turn 1, so... Could we see a pole from Ferrari? Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Big upgrade package. We know Sainz, of course, his home circuit. He'll be wanting to put on a show and win here. 1,000 metres is a kilometre. Is it? Is 1,000 metres a kilometre? I thought 1,000 metres was a mile. Hamilton! Stop the count! Stop the count! Lewis Hamilton, P1 in practice. Bearing in mind, that first sector time was slow. He's 10th fastest in the first sector, Hamilton. 10th fastest. So that was very slow from Hamilton in the first sector. If he knocked off a couple of attempts there, he would have been easily at the top. So 1 mile's about 600. Oh, okay, fair enough. I do miles per hour. I don't do kilometres. Carlos Sainz. Williams, he's off to Williams. It's going to be announced. I think it was supposed to be announced today. It's being pushed back to tomorrow. Yeah, he's off to Williams. 2+2 year deal. See, those emails went up. Well, it's practice, Zap. It's practice. Wait until qualifying. But yeah, there will definitely be a... it'll be interesting to see, wouldn't it? If Albon's slow, or is he just letting cars through? Perez still in the pits, guys, and bottom, 20th place. He has a 3-place grid penalty for this weekend as well, for driving back to the pits with a broken rear wing in Montreal. So that means Perez will be starting last place today, or at least 19th this weekend, because we know he's not going to make it out of Q1. I'm sorry, Perez fans. Actually, I do think he'll get out because he's always done well at Barcelona. Hamilton, he's going to have a bad qualifying again. Stop the count. Yeah. I mean, are they doing multiple laps? Yeah, so they've literally gone out and done one lap. One flying lap, a qualifying sim, and then they're coming into the pit. So we'll see if Lewis goes again, but I don't think he will. Maybe he will. I'm not sure. George Russell running again? Yeah, George Russell's going again. Here we go. Oh, he's on his lap. He's green everywhere. He's fastest in the first sector, but he's not fastest in the second. But George could go top here with a good last sector. No. So slow. He got held up by traffic there, I think, in the last sector. Yeah. Not overall. I mean, George was relatively quick in the first and second, and then the last sector looks like he got held up quite a bit by traffic. That's why he's a few tenths off. But really tight up there at the top. Really tight. You can see Hamilton signs. I mean, the top 7 there, separated by less than half. Well, a bit less than that. But you can see the top 5 separated by less than, about 3 tenths. Around 3 tenths. So, bodes well for this weekend. Charles Leclerc staying out on a set of softs, which is interesting. Lance Stroll. What's my prediction for the race? As I said, I do have a feeling there's just something that makes me think Lewis is going to have a good weekend. I'm going as bold to say a Lewis Hamilton win this weekend. Just got a feeling Mercedes might have unlocked something. And I think he's got the bit between his teeth, and he feels a little bit hard done by, of course, by what happened in Montreal. And I think we're going to see a good Lewis. I think he'll at least finish on the podium. I do think that, and that'd be a good result for Hamilton. And I think he'll comfortably beat Russell. So I do think one of the Ferraris will be on the podium as well, and then also Max. I actually don't see a Max win. I think Max will be third. I think he'll be on the podium, but I think, yeah, he can't rule out Lando either. He can't rule out Lando. It's so much harder to predict now. So much harder to predict. No, Georgine, I wasn't live for FP1. So FP1 sessions now, if they're like European time, I won't be able to do because I work full-time. I've got a full-time, obviously, 8 to 5 job. On Fridays, I finish a little bit earlier, which I'm fortunate with. So I'm able to do FP2s. But FP1s, last week, when Montreal was not the norm because it was an evening time and I was on holiday, so I was able to do that FP1 session. But yeah, unless it's like an evening race or like a early morning race or something, or sessions, I won't be able to do FP1, unfortunately. But I'll try and make as many as possible, as I've always said. I'll always be around for qualifying in the race, though. That's the real thing. That's what matters. Gasly faster than Max, yeah. At the moment, but look, guys, they're not running quali fuel. That's for sure. If we have a look at what the fastest lap was last year, F1, Barcelona, BP, 3. Lewis came second. It was Lewis, Hamilton, and George Russell second and third last year. Huh. I don't really remember that. Qualifying. So a 1:12.2 was the fastest Q3 time. That was the pole time set by Max Verstappen last time. He qualified on pole by half a second last year, Max. Oh my god. Half a second over Carlos Sainz in P2, Lando Norris P3. Wow. That's Jesus, that is, I never realised it was that big of a gap. So no one's crashed. No one's crashed. It's been pretty chill, to be honest, this practice session. Everyone's out there on, whoever's out there now is on the soft. So the soft compound tyre is not really a race tyre, guys. It's not something that we're going to see over the weekend, other than in qualifying. So the hard compound tyre is definitely the race tyre to be on, and the mediums as well. Normally it's a 2-stop race, so we either see 2 stops on the mediums and then the hard, or we see someone sometimes try and push a 1-stopper, but you leave yourself vulnerable to someone hitting, doing an extra pit stop, and catching you up and overtaking you, like we saw with Lewis Hamilton do a few years ago on Max. So I think Verstappen did that on Perez as well, but of course Perez was asked to let him by rather than fight him out on track. So yeah, the track itself isn't necessarily always great for wheel-to-wheel racing, but it does provide intrigue when it comes to strategy. And Sunday, the forecast is supposedly intermittent. We could get quite a bit of rain on Sunday, which will always spices things up. Always spices things up, guys. Mercs have gone well around this circuit since 2022. Just 2023 things. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for everyone for tuning in and subscribing, by the way. I did see a few subs come in. Junior, just a man lurking around, thank you. And anyone else who's subbed in the meantime, if we could hit the like button as well, get the stream to over 100 likes, be much appreciated. And yeah, continuing to build this great community. This is the first race of this triple header we have ahead of us, Barcelona. We have a sprint weekend sandwiched in between this triple header, which is at Red Bull Ring, and then we have Silverstone. So the British Grand Prix, which is way too expensive for me to be attending. So yeah, only a couple of hours down the road from me, but a real shame that I can't attend that. I've never attended a real life F1 race, guys, which is yeah, something I'd love to do. But yeah, Silverstone, those Silverstone prices, I can't justify it. Can't justify it. Hey, Tigers. Yeah, thank you, guys. And anyone who's viewing on Twitch, if you're on Twitch, hello. Who do I think is going to win the Grand Prix? We just discussed this. I think I'm going bold. I'm going to go out there and say it now. FP2, Lewis Hamilton is going to win this race this weekend. It's just something, I don't know, just got a feeling. Sometimes you have to go with your gut feeling. But I think it's going to be another I think it's going to be another close race. I do. I think it's going to be another close race. Max, look, we know he's the difference at the moment in that Red Bull. He's getting those performances, isn't he? So out of that car, whereas Perez isn't able to. So let's keep an eye out on Perez, actually. So a lot of pressure on Perez this weekend. And, well, he's already 3 tenths slower than his teammate into the first sector. To put it in perspective, Perez's first sector time there on a set of softs was, with no traffic, has put him 17th in the first sector. So let's see how he does in a second. As he heads down the second DRS zone on this circuit. Down the middle straight. And that's a 29.7. And that is not much of an improvement. 16th. This is going to be slow from Perez. Is he running a lot of fuel? Is he making mistakes? Is he just slow? And... Oh, 13th on a brand new set of softs. Let's see if he goes again. Does he go again? Let's keep an eye out on him, or if he's going to slow down, I'm not sure. But that's not a great run from Perez. I'm worried. Max is still coming through his number 1. Yeah. I mean, look, Max. I'm sure Max will dial out the issues in that car, but it does look like he's got some mid-corner understeer, which is affecting him at the moment. But he is fastest where it matters. That's the key for Max. Is that he's fastest in the first sector and the last sector, and of course, if you're fastest there, they're the 2 prime overtaking spots. So even if he's out of position in qualifying, he'll be in the ascendancy to make those overtakes and to defend as well. So, yeah. But Lando's quick in the second sector, hasn't really shown his pace in the first sector. So McLarens, we know they like to hold a little bit back in in practice. But hopefully this isn't the pattern repeating itself, though, where Lewis Hamilton is quick in practice, he looks good, and then he's just slow and terrible in qualifying and puts himself out of position, you know. Thanks to Perez, we can have a championship fight for the constructor. Yeah, at least there's something like that to look forward to. I mean, look, the Drivers' Championship is still not over and done with. It's not. There's 56 points between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen at the moment. We still have 17 races remaining. That is a lot of points on offer. A lot of points. And we've seen that Red Bull be vulnerable. So, you still expect Max to see it out and win the championship this year. But it's not over with by any means. It's more so, can Leclerc get the points required? Or Lando could go on a run. All it takes is for one of these teams and these drivers to go on a run. And it's so close up the top there. Like, it was a great drive by Max in Montreal, but he could quite easily have finished. He could quite easily have finished in third place, or off the podium positions that weekend if the other teams and drivers didn't make mistakes. So George made mistakes, McLaren made mistakes, didn't they? With not pitting Lando when they did. Hamilton, of course, made a mistake in qualifying. He arguably should have been on the front row as well, alongside George. So, yeah, there's. But that's what Max has been doing. He's been digging deep and getting those results, even when necessarily the car hasn't been quite there, up to the standard of Red Bull, anyway. Is Lewis? If Lewis is 2 tenths slower, you swear. Someone's going to be keeping a watchful eye on those tyre blankets, aren't they? Do I think Perez extending his contract Red Bull is a good idea? No, I don't think it's a good idea. It's a good idea for that. For the bank balance of Red Bull. That's the only reasonable decision that they've made for it. So they've made that decision because Perez brings in a shed load of cash. A shed load. Like, he is so popular around the world. I don't think people understand how popular he is. Like 75% of the merchandise sales of Red Bull are Perez clothing and stuff like merch. You go to any like American race, South American race, Asia as well is really popular. There's so much Perez merchandise that people are wearing. So yeah, he brings in. He's a commercial appointment, and he's an appointment who Max comfortably knows isn't going to challenge him, and it keeps him happy. But there comes a point where you can't have your driver finish not even making it into Q2 or making it into Q3. Gasly and Albon got treated so much more harshly for doing nowhere near as poor as what Perez is showing right now, as he did last year and now. So, but Lando is in the championship fight as long as he maintains consistency. Yeah, Max is worth 3 tenths. They've had bad. Oh, definitely. Yeah, the best drivers make the difference. Of course they do. And the best drivers get into the best seats. They get the best drivers get into the best teams and the best seats because the teams want them. You don't see, with respect, you don't see Magnussen. You don't see. You haven't seen anyone want to acquire Lance Stroll because he's just not good enough. Like Lance Stroll is never going to get a championship-winning car unless Aston Martin provide him one because it's his dad's team. You know, so it's the likes of Verstappen, the likes of Hamilton, the likes of Norris, Fernando Alonso, Vettel throughout their years. They moved to big teams because they warranted those positions and they got the best cars to win their championships and win races and fight for them. Such a shame that this decision was taken because of money. I think Yuki would do a fair better job. I think everyone can pretty much agree with that. So, who replaced Perez if you don't want Carlos? Lawson might not be better and doesn't sell as much. This is why. Yeah, and that's the thing. Look, there's commercial decisions that are based, whether we like it or not. F1 is a business. And these drivers, while they're not necessarily paid drivers, they are there because of the amount of revenue they can bring. There is no way that Zhou Guanyu is not on the grid next year. No way. because we have a Chinese Grand Prix. He is the only Chinese driver on the grid. And the Chinese market is massive. Absolutely massive. Supposedly, the rumours are, his team can bring 30 million outright to a team. Just like that. 30 million. That is a shed load of cash. And that's not necessarily because of what he'd bring as a driver. That's because of how popular... I mean, he's got his own documentary. He's got his own documentary coming out this year, later this year or something, about this season, I think, of like when he's in China. Like, they gave him his own spot. He finished like 17th in the Chinese Grand Prix, and he had his own spot as if he'd finished P1 on the grid at the end, where he was like bowing to the crowd and waving to him and stuff. It's like crazy. There's no way any team is not taking that on. Like a mid-table team. That's why supposedly I know I can see him staying at stake. I can see him staying at stake. Or he will go Alpine, because Alpine need the cash, didn't they? So, what drivers do you think deserve the top seat but never got one? Oh, there's a few, isn't there? There's a few teams who have deserved seats, but I can't think off the top of my head. But there's junior drivers. I mean, like Lawson deserves to be in F1, doesn't he? Like it's to at least have an opportunity. Why is it lagging here? What's going on here? But yeah. Do I think Max will go to Mercedes? Yes. I genuinely do. Bold call, but I do. You put the best in the best car at the back, they still come top three. Lewis and Max smash teammates in that regard. It's why they're best. Yeah, that like talent shines through, doesn't it? So yeah, obviously F1 you are limited by your machinery, and it's about being in the right. Like, you have to play the career game with F1 as well. You have to be in the right team at the right time. One driver I think we could all agree with who's just fumbled the career game is Fernando Alonso. Totally deserves on talent more world championships, but he moved teams at the wrong time. He broke relationships at the wrong time, and left teams when they got good, and he wasn't able to win championships or more championships. But you'd say he is better than what a double world champion, than the 2 world championships that he's got. But that's the aim of the game. You need to position yourself correctly. Hamilton's done it perfectly. Started at McLaren, then moved to Mercedes. Obviously dominant for like a decade. Now could he be making, at the end of his career, one final good career move to Ferrari? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Mercedes do actually go back on the up by the end of this season, and they're actually challenging it. Imagine he's fighting George Russell for a world championship next year. Not, but I'm disregarding Charles Leclerc, but imagine that. Oh, that would be so feisty. That would have Max Verstappen dual, like that would be 2021 all over again. I think things would get very, very heated. Very heated if that situation arose. Oh, I think it could be even worse than Max Verstappen, you know? Like, with how heated that got. Crazy next year, but next year will be 20 years since Fernando won a championship. Really? Wow. What's your Netflix in the wheel as Max as well? Hulk, you could argue, deserved a better seat. No, I don't think Hulk has deserved more than what he's had. He's fumbled his opportunities. He's had a number of opportunities for a podium and fumbled them every time. So I think he had a lot of potential as a youngster, but then he didn't really shine through. He didn't get over that. He hit a brick wall in essence when it came to like podium, and he wasn't able to take that next step, which so many kind of like other drivers have. Hey Leo, Max washed? No, Max isn't washed. He's not washed. If you think Max is washed, you haven't watched the last 3-4 races where he's dug deep and pulled out some great performances to get to win at Imola and to win at Montreal. They're all on flight. They're all just on race trim now, pretty much. We had like the single lap. So the thing is here is that and I'm surprised Sargent and Joe are doing so many laps on the hard compound tyre. You want the mediums, and the tyre allocation is going to be key here this weekend, because the medium and the hard compound tyre are ideal race tyre for Barcelona. They always are. But of course, you don't want to use too many. Like, the softs don't last very long at Barcelona as well. It's a very high-loaded circuit, so you don't want to burn through your soft compound tyres through practice, because you've then got you haven't got enough brand new softs for qualifying. So there's a fine balance here. But the problem is that all the data you want is to be on the medium and the hard compound tyre. You don't want to really gain too much data. Like, gaining data on the soft compound tyre is not that relevant to when it comes to race day on Sunday. So yeah, it's a tough one for the teams here. But it's more, obviously they'll be dialing in their setups and so forth. But the Mercs look good. Looking at sector times, guys, the Mercs look good. Verstappen is quick in the first. Interestingly enough, Gasly's fastest in the last sector. Hamilton second in the second and third sector. He's a bit slow in the first, but we don't know what fuel they were running. We're way off of the qualifying pole time that we saw last year. A second, a 12.2 is what we saw last year by Max Verstappen, half a second quicker than Carlos Sainz. So that was supreme. Last year, the performance, he won by 25 seconds from Lewis Hamilton in P2. But yeah, Max is definitely, just watching a bit of onboard footage of him here as he went through turn 3, and he's definitely struggling with the car through the mid corner. He's reporting mid corner understeer, and the footage that we're seeing is definitely indicating that. So not as well balanced. I think Red Bull, unless they can sort something out, Max just might have to make a compromise and go for the fast pace he's got in the first and last sector, and then just try and see what he can do in the middle. There's not many. I mean, unless someone kind of sends it, it's quite difficult to overtake in F1 in this middle sector. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Check the timing sheet. So they stopped. Hang on. What has happened with the timing sheets? Why are they not working? What's happening here? Is it updating or not? I can't tell. No, is it? Hang on. Track map's updating. But it was. Give me a second, guys. I'll just reload this up. Hopefully this sorts itself out. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. It's not updating itself, is it, for some reason? There's the data is not working. We've got the track map up, but the timing screens aren't working. Why is that? That's working. So all the telemetry is working, but not the actual timing screens. Times have stopped working, which is very bizarre. Yeah, it's normally because of F1's data. The actual data that's supplied by F1. So we'll just have to leave it there and just and wait. I mean, you've got the times there. There's only a couple of minutes left, guys, of this session anyway. No one's positions are going to change between now and the end of the session. I mean, what is the time actually? 6 minutes left, just over 5 minutes left of this practice session. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't know why it's not updating. But we've got a track map. We know where drivers are. So do I think Williams is going to drop Logan Sargent for? Yes, I think Logan Sargent will be out of his seats by the. I think he'll be given to the summer break, and then Kimi Antonelli will be put in for the last for the remainder of the season, second half of the season. That's what the rumours floating around are. He's doing a lot of testing. His timings are very good, and I think they're going to do Williams are going to get a kickback in regards to like a discount for engines that they use, the Mercedes engines, to use Kimi Antonelli for 6 months. There's going to be an announcement of Carlos Sainz this weekend. Supposedly it was supposed to be today. It's going to be announced tomorrow. He's going to be joining Williams on a 2+2 year deal. So, yeah, I think they're going to take a punt on putting Kimi Antonelli in for the remainder of the season rather than Logan Sargeant, because Logan Sargeant, you know he's not going to score you points. Kimi Antonelli may score you points. There's data to suggest that he is a lot quicker than Logan Sargeant with the times that he's done in comparison to George Russell at these Mercedes test days. So, yeah, and it's good for Mercedes because he would have 6 months experience for next year. And Mercedes have also banned any interviews with Kimi Antonelli. You can't get an interview with Kimi Antonelli right now. So that indicates that they're probably lining him up for a seat this year. Why would you ban interviews with him if he was joining next year? So, yeah, I don't. The timing screens have gone a bit funky, unfortunately, guys. It looks. Oh, there we go. Look, it's just kicked itself back into gear right at the end. Right at the end, it sorted itself out, and we now have timings back on screen. So just a slight interruption there to this broadcast. Who let an Alpine up there? They must be doing quali runs. Yeah, they most definitely, Jack. Yeah, they're on the low fuel. They're on the low fuel. We said earlier we still were second off of the quali time of Max's pole time last year, which is a 12.2. So yeah, everyone's running. Well, those times were set on a higher fuel load for sure, definitely, and probably not as maximum engine modes either. Wouldn't anyone be quicker than Sargeant? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Will Birmingham be enhanced next year? Pretty much, yeah. Supposedly, they're just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So, yeah, I think that was kind of always a done deal anyway. I think that's what they were going to do, Haas, because he's in for he's in for every single rookie practice session this year. So, which is a clear indicator of, like, they see him in that seat next year, even before Hulkenberg announced he was moving to Stake. Maybe Haas had already kind of showed their intention internally to Magnussen and Hulkenberg, but look, one of your seats is up for grabs. I think Magnussen's also going. I think Esteban Ocon, it's pretty much confirmed as well by Joe Saywood that Ocon is moving to Haas. So he wouldn't leave Alpine if there wasn't another seat on the grid for him already. So it's going to be a lineup next year of Ollie Behrman and Esteban Ocon in Haas. Heard Alpine looking for a new engine supplier. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're bringing back in Flavio Briatore of all people as like a consultant executive, whatever he's been brought back in as, your team's in dire straits. You know, they are so fucked up behind the scenes if you're bringing back Briatore. Like anyone but him with the reputation that he's got. So I mean, contrary to what people believed and what is always reported, he got initially issued a lifetime ban from F1, but then that got revoked and he was just given like a lengthy ban a few months after that was dished out. So yeah, that's why you still see him up and down the grid. He still manages, I think, a couple of drivers, or has done in the past, in the near past. So yeah, he's still able to be in F1 after all that Crashgate. Yeah, so I know, chat. Yeah, it's crazy with the reputation that he's got. So that just indicates how much of a shit show it is behind the scenes. There's now also reports that Gasly is looking to move away. He's now looking to maneuver himself away from Alpine. So that's clear indications that like Ocon would rather leave Alpine, who is at this moment in time a works team. They still are a works team. Of course, there's rumours of them looking for a new engine supplier. But he's going to move himself away. He'd rather get away from Alpine and go to Haas, who are further down the order, you would say, than Alpine. Of course, this year they haven't. But generally speaking, Alpine is a team that should be pushing the status quo up the top, right? With Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes. That's where they want to be, fighting for podiums and that. He's moving away from that team to go to Haas, just so that he's out of quite evidently is a shit show at the moment, and ensuring that he's at least on the grid still. Like, that is a clear indication of what is going on at Alpine and how fucked up it is at the moment. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Alpine aren't Alpine in a few years' time. They're either under a completely different name or they're bought out. I think Renault are looking to sever ties with F1. So yeah. What happened to Aston Martin? Just doing long runs. They didn't really do. Lance Stroll's done like 17 laps on a set of softs, and Fernando Alonso. I mean, Aston are struggling this year, aren't they? They haven't made the forward steps that they would have liked. So, Sainz Williams confirmed was supposed to be today, supposedly tomorrow. Yeah. So, Liam Lawson should get out of the Red Bull family and go to Alpine. Yeah, that's what other people have I've seen people like guessing and suggesting. I think Lawson's going to get shafted, unfortunately. I think he's going to be made to wait and wait and wait. Oh, you're going to get a seat. Yeah, you're going to get a seat. They're edging him. They're edging Liam Lawson. Yeah, just wait. And then they're going to go, oh no, we're keeping Daniel Ricciardo. We're keeping the same lineup as we had. Like, Perez is staying. That seat we promised you, oh no, it's going to Daniel Ricciardo. Because he just brings in more money. And that's nothing against Daniel Ricciardo, guys. Like, I want Daniel Ricciardo to do well. However, he's there because of the money. Like, he's very marketable. He brings in, like Perez, a lot of money for the team. But that team's no longer the junior Red Bull team. It's not there for its initial purpose to bring juniors through the team to make the eventual step up to Red Bull. It's not there for that purpose anymore. And I think they're then going to go, oh yeah, we're keeping Daniel Ricciardo. That allows you to speak with other teams, but then every other place on the grid is already taken by that point. And Liam Lawson's going to be out of a seat in 2025, which sucks. Absolutely sucks. You can't ask a guy to do anything more than what he did last year and warrant a place on the grid. So I would do better there. How many drivers don't pay anything to the team? I don't know. I think it's not quite pay drivers anymore. Spanner's said it very well, and I said this a while back. It's you've got drivers who kind of funnel money through sponsorships, so they have influential members in their family or like very rich family members, and they funnel it through like sponsorships and stuff of the team, rather than it being necessarily like, here's a shed load of cash. I do think that there's drivers who have like, they're there because of the commercial revenue. They're there for commercial reasons, the revenue they can bring in, like Zhou, amount of money he brings in from China, Sergio Perez as well. Obviously we know Lance Stroll's situation. He is a pay driver. His dad's bought a bloody team, for God's sake. So yeah, there's a number of drivers who kind of have that as well. Supposedly Sargent is one of those where money is funneled through sponsorships. It's not seen as like a pay. He's not seen as not a pay driver under that definition, but he kind of like is, maybe. So, but we'll never truly know because we don't see that inner workings. So that's kind of what it is now, Anders. Yeah, it's sponsors and merch. It's sponsors and merch. That's what people bring in. Yeah. So, which is a shame because we've only got 20 cars. We've only got 20 seats on the grid, and we want to see the best drivers on the grid, and we never do. We never do, and that's been F1 throughout history, unfortunately. RB is just $1 billion billboard for Red Bull. Yeah. You could probably go to Aston when Honda joins. Yeah, I think it's probably quite smart from Yuki to stay at AlphaTauri. I can see why he wouldn't want to move because look, that Red Bull seat's not available right now. Honda's not, like the Honda deal with the Honda relationship with Aston is not available right now because of Alonso staying and Lance Stroll. So that may open up for him. when Alonso moves, whether it be next year or the year after or whatever. And then Tsunoda can also see there, okay, if I keep doing what I'm doing, all I can do is keep putting pressure on Perez, on that seat of Perez. And Perez's deal is only a 1+1 deal. But how bad must Perez do for Red Bull to cut ties with him? That's the thing. But I don't think Perez would be leaving the grid anytime soon, just purely because of the money that he brings. If he gets let go by Red Bull, someone else will nab him up because of the money. Someone like even a Haas would take him over probably Ocon because of the money he brings. A likes of maybe even Audi would, or someone else will nab him up further down the grid where he'll do a decent job and score points and bring in all that sweet commercial revenue that is attached to him. Kind of day before Williams came through, he had to spend an extra season in F3 with a far worse team than the previous season. I don't think it's money with Sargent, maybe delusion. I don't know. Maybe there's the connection with. I think they wanted an American driver on the grids. Like there's American owners. Is it their like that investment firm that owns Williams now has a controlling stake of the team? So they're American. They wanted to probably capitalise on having an American driver on the grid with boom of F1 in America. However, he's not a personality. No one knew who Logan Sargent was. They wanted to probably try and make him into that. However, one, Logan's not that sort of character, and two, he's not good enough. So they can't even go, look at this amazing American driver we've got in F1. He's finishing 20th every race, 20th or 19th. Yeah, so... FP2 done, guys. Yeah, FP2 done. And your eyes are not deceiving you. Lewis Hamilton, he won. So my prediction is that Lewis Hamilton, I'm going bold. Lewis Hamilton to win this weekend. Finished second here last year. Always goes well at Barcelona. And as long as he's got tyre blankets up to temperature for qualifying, I think he'll do really well. But look, Mercedes have a habit of luring us in with a false sense of security. They did well, of course, with qualifying. They didn't do that necessarily in qualifying at Montreal. But yeah, we'll see what tomorrow has in store for us. Max is every time slow, but in race he's passing the 8. Yeah, waiting for Sainz to bring Williams back to the podium. It'll definitely improve them for sure, and it'll give Albon a challenge. Obviously, lots of people questioning. I mean, Albon has not been out qualified by his teammate in like 2 years, so yeah, Sainz will actually put some pressure on Albon, and it could make the team go in the right direction, hopefully. So his uncle is one of the richest men in USA. Sargent brings him bags of cash. Oh well, there you go, Jimmy. Yeah, I did read that actually. He's got like isn't he like a CEO or like on the board of like $1 billion company or something? So he's not short of a few bob, is he? You think if it was wanting an American driver on the grid from Liberty's side, they'd want Andretti? Yeah, well, they don't, do they? They just want to keep it as a franchise model. They want to keep the status quo. And the thing is, F1 is becoming more and more lucrative as time goes on. So the teams on the grid now are getting more and more valuable. So if they do eventually sell to another team, then they'll have to. Someone will have to buy it at the cost of like what a football, like a soccer team costs. Like it'd be like buying Manchester United or something. Like like you're talking billions of pounds that would have to be spent to buy one of the teams on the grid now. Especially with there being limited space as well, and knowing that it's a franchise model where there's no relegation, and that's what the teams don't want. The teams are kicking back and joining with Liberty Media because they don't want someone else to come in and take their piece of the pie and devalue what is currently the 10 teams on the grid. So, which is a shame for us fans because there's definitely at least a place for 2 more teams on the grid. So they shouldn't have pretended new teams could join. Yeah, that's the problem. There's just kind of like, yeah, you can join, but like it's just because there's the new Concord agreement coming into place in 2026 also, I think, and they're looking to double the joining fee from 350 million to 700. And I also saw a rumor as well floating about that there's a proposal that when you first join, that first year, no matter where you finish, you will not receive any prize money in that first year that you join. which is just so you have to. You're already 700 million down from the joining fee, and then you're like all the development and stuff like that, all the extra costs, and then you're telling me I can't recuperate any of that from prize money. Fuck off. Like, I'm sorry, that's total BS if that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me because it's just another mechanism to push to because who in their right mind is going to do that? Who in their right mind is going to front up 700 million and then accept, oh, in that first season I'm not going to get any prize money? But you can join though. I mean, it's open for you to join. That's how they're going to frame it. So I think Haas had to wait 2 years. What, to win prize money? I mean, it's a bullshit rule if that's the case. I'm sorry, that's a bullshit rule. Yeah, qualifying? Getting ahead of myself there. FP2 is over and done with, yes. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton was top, Sainz was second, Lando Norris third, Gasly up there in P4. So we saw some quali runs, which was interesting. Some very short quali runs, only a single lap from most. Obviously, Barcelona takes a fair old toll on the tyres, so you're not going to see anyone improve on like a second lap or a second run with the same set of soft tyres. But lots of drivers running different strategies here, like fuel loads and so forth. Max Verstappen, the intriguing thing was that he is struggling with mid-corner understeer. Doesn't quite look as well balanced throughout the course of this circuit. But you'd imagine Red Bull will probably dial, more than likely dial that out overnight and with one more practice session tomorrow before qualifying in the afternoon. But yeah, the Mercs look good. And looking at the sector times, the Ferraris also look good as well. Still a little bit difficult to tell where people are at. Lando Norris, P1 in FP1, P3 now in FP2. The McLarens are sneaky. They're always there or thereabouts in practice. They don't show their true performance and potential. So yeah, it's shaping up to be a good race this weekend. On track, I still don't expect really too much on-track action. I think it's going to be more on strategy. Unless we get rain, then that'll make things interesting and we'll probably get some decent racing. But yeah, Barcelona's always been on the strategy side of things. So that's what we'll do our best to keep a track of on Sunday for sure. Wasn't Cheltenham I went to, Quicko. It was the Epsom Derby. I went to the Epsom races, Ladies' Day I went to, and it was... Oh, yeah. I was not in a good shape by the end of the day. I drank way too much beer. And I'm not really a beer drinker, but it's the most affordable thing to drink at the races because everything else costs a bloody fortune. So, yes, my head was... Thankfully, no sickness. But yeah, my head was not in a great way the next day. That's for sure. So barriers to entry to protect the other teams. Yeah, basically, yeah, that's what it is. Because they don't want to devalue. They don't want to devalue their teams, their businesses at the end of the day. And everyone's sat there since Liberty Media have taken over, and the value of the teams have gone up and up and up and up. And that's why Haas and Gunther Steiner was so vocal about Andretti joining. What value are they going to bring? Well, it's like they're going to bring value. It's because you see it as them taking a piece of the pie of like potentially devaluing your team because there's now another team to take prize money off of you and to make you look like a fool if they come in and they do better than you. Likewise, Zach Brown's been very vocal against them as well because he's a businessman and he's seen McLaren go up in value since since Liberty Media have joined, and he wants to keep that trajectory for obviously the owners and the shareholders and stuff. So a full day of drinking, yeah. I had a long day of drinking yesterday as well, yeah. So what time is quality tomorrow? 3 o'clock UK time tomorrow is when qualifying will be on. I unfortunately will not be here for FP3 tomorrow, guys. I have good reason. I have a baby scan tomorrow. So I know I look like I've got a baby, but yes, it is the missus. So yeah, we've got a baby scan tomorrow during the middle of FP3. It is what it is. I can't move it. So yeah, I'll be here for qualifying in the afternoon though. So you're going to Ascot tomorrow. It's supposed to be a good day, Quicko. It's supposed to be a good day. So what I'd suggest, just line the stomach. Make sure you eat before and while you're there, because yeah, you quickly rack them up. You quickly rack up the beers, that's for sure. So you'll enjoy it. I've never been Ascot. I've never been, but I have. That's the second time I've been to Epsom, and yeah, it's a real good day out. I didn't win any. I won money. I was quite successful on my first time there, and then this time around, I had look, for quite a bit of money actually. I had a horse literally get pipped on the line, a nose, and I was fuming. And yeah, that was the closest I came to winning any money all day. So, but it's a good day out. It is a real great day out. Didn't they go to the government or something? Yeah, so that's still ongoing. I don't know what the update with that is in regards to the US government. But yeah, Congress got involved. It was like the anti... what was it? US. If there's any US viewers here, I can't remember exactly what it was about. It was anti. Like it's all to do with like jobs, basically. But it's like a bipartisan, so people from both parties on this committee writing a letter to F1 and saying, "Why are you stopping this from happening? Because you're stopping jobs and American jobs." Being created, because that's what Andretti are proposing. So yeah, that they wanted to ask them that, and I'm not sure if they even got a reply. They did put a deadline down. I'm not sure if it got answered. So, but no, thank you guys. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, she's due in. We're having a little girl. If you've missed it, I've said it. I've mentioned it a few times, but yeah, she's due in about 3 months' time. So. Yeah, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. I am excited. So yeah, we got another scan tomorrow. Just another checkup for us personally. So yeah. Thanks. Yeah, thanks guys. So yeah, we're gonna have a little girl, and she will definitely be into motorsport. That's for sure. So you have 4 daughters, aged 3 to 9. Wow, you were a busy boy, Lumpy. 4 daughters, aged 3 to 9. That was a busy 5 years for you. 6 years, sorry. 6 years. Right, well, I think that's it, guys. I think that's it for today. It's very warm in this room. I need to go grab myself a bite to eat before I do commentary later on for the Missed Apex. But yeah, it's boding well for this weekend. We have Hamilton on P1, just to round things off. Look at the Mercedes looking good, picking up where they left off in Montreal. Gasly up there in P4. Take that with a pinch of salt, literally, because he no doubt was on a low fuel run. Lap time wise, we're still a full second off of the pole time that Max Verstappen set last year of a 12.2. So that's a clear indication that drivers are running quite high fuel still. So hang on, just listen to Max Verstappen interview and just see what he has to say about his car. Max reporting they're trying a few different setups out there on circuit, trying to fine tune things. And just saying they need to tidy up the car a bit. So saying things are quite normal. So interesting. Your PC makes your room so hot. Yeah, and that's the thing, this light I've got here as well is also makes me a bit hot. And also this ultra-wide monitor actually gives off a lot of heat. So it's all right in the winter, but not so great in the summer. But yeah, no, everyone, thanks for tuning in. This first watch along back from the holiday. Got to see my beautiful face once again. Thank you for all the subs. I think we had about 40 subs there, 30 odd subs. So yeah, big thank you. We'll be back tomorrow for qualifying. I will set the stream up so that you can head over there and hit the notification button and save it and sit there in the waiting room for tomorrow. And yeah, it should be a good one. Dry one supposedly tomorrow as well. And then the race, we could have rain. So let's see what happens. I'll be tuning in intermittently to FP3, keeping an eye out, and yeah, be able to answer any of your questions, depending on obviously what happens with FP3 for qualifying. We'll be going maybe 45 minutes live early to make up for missing FP3, so we'll see. But yeah, everyone have a lovely Friday evening, and yeah, please hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. We've got over 142 likes, a big thank you, and yeah, we will see you tomorrow. Leo, I love McLaren. Always, I grew up on McLaren. Mika Hakkinen was my favourite driver growing up. I do like Mercedes because of Lewis Hamilton, and I do like Mercedes cars as well, like in real life, like road cars and stuff. So yeah, I've always liked Mercedes. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the Brits. So yeah, that they're kind of. I may be moving over to. I may have to get myself some red for next season though, with Lewis Hamilton going over to red. For the first time in my life, I'll be a Ferrari fan. But that tells you what's up. But yeah, everyone have a lovely rest of your Friday evening, and we will catch you live for qualifying tomorrow. Bye.